Alright, welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at Angron. But we've already seen the model previewed. So we have a leaked unofficial version of his Warlord trait, as well as his command abilities, and then his datasheet as well. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is ridiculous. But before we get there, let's take a look at the actual model and what we've officially seen so far, because the rest is just speculation. Alright, so this was the official reveal of Angron from Games Workshop, and I'm not going to lie, this model looks amazing. At first there was a little bit of question as to whether the model itself was going to be plastic or this was potentially resin. I would say just looking at the actual model is plastic just because of how the actual edges look and everything. It looks really crisp but still has kind of like the rounded look to it. Resin doesn't tend to have that. And then also because the World Eaters are getting a new codex, it wouldn't make much sense for them to do a Forge World Primarch like this, even though they just did Horus or showed Horus as a Forge World like new model Primarch. I'm still convinced that this guy's coming in plastic and is going to be with the World Eater launch of the Codex. So we'll see. None of this is 100%, but we know he's coming one way or the other. And just one more note as well. Angron didn't really like descend into demonhood until way later on, so I think it's less likely that they would come out with a Demon Prince version of Angron for 30k. But I'm sure somebody out there is a little more fresh on the lore than I am. If things weren't dire enough for the Imperium, what with the opening of the Great Rift and all the other threats from within and without, another Demon Primarch has joined the battle for the fate of the galaxy. He might not look it, but he's extremely happy to be back. Angron is arguably the most tragic figure of the Horus Heresy, a tormented soul failed by everyone. Used as a weapon by his masters, his hated father, and even his brother Horus, Angron's fall to damnation could so easily have been prevented, but fall he did, and his current form bears horrifying witness to 10,000 years of pure hate. So again, the 10,000 years of pure hate, you know, the gap between 30k and 40k, again making me think that, you know, it is in fact a 40k model. So obviously, absolutely amazing, absolutely beautiful. But you guys have probably already seen this. We're about to take a look at some stuff you haven't seen. The Demon Primarch of Khorne is a gigantic slab of warp-fueled muscle. He's been totally reforged into the image of his bloody master. Flesh as red as a cascade of gore he leaves in his wake. Yet take a closer look and you can still see the origins of the Demon Prince. The Butcher's nails are still present, now fused into his very form. Likewise, scraps of his old Nucerian warplates still remain, like the shoulder pad that pays homage to his former legion, even if the teeth are now somehow more demonic. A gaping maw, almost literally eating worlds. So, I mean, just stunning detail right here. Absolutely amazing. I mean, this is sick. I love the sword. Reminds me of the one on the Nurgle demon. Carrying his Red Angel moniker, the entity once known as the Lord of the Red Sands retains other trappings from his long-ago life as a gladiator in the arenas of his brutal homeworld. The weapons may be new, but they're still chained to his wrists, Nuceria style. Alright, so let's take a look at what we've got here. Alright, so right off the bat, we see the Warlord trait is +1 strength and +1 attack on the charge, so that is pretty freaking awesome. And then command ability. So it's choose one of these three abilities. They're each a 6-inch aura. The first one is no retreat. So like no falling back out of combat. There's no stipulations or anything like that. It just says you can't leave combat. So that is pretty cool. We've in the past had abilities like that, but there was some kind of test or like roll off something that you had to do. This is just straight up no retreat. The second one is World Eaters. Reroll ones to hit in combat. Ones to hit. I did not put that on the slide, but it does say to hit. And then finally, the third choice is World Eater core units get +1 attack. So essentially, you pick one of those command abilities at the beginning of your turn, and instead of like putting it onto a single unit, it just becomes a 6-inch aura. I would think the no retreat is probably the way to go, as he could basically charge into combat, completely destroy something, and then just pile into other stuff, and then that stuff's basically just trapped in combat. I'm thinking that's probably the way to go, and we're about to take a look at his actual stats, and it's pretty ridiculous. I can't imagine anything actually living through him attacking it. So don't mind the blurriness. Again, obviously this was taken with a potato cam. It is a leak supposedly from a playtester. It looks legit to me, but you never know with this kind of stuff. So maybe we'll notice something as we're going through here. So Angron, 18 power. Some of this model's characteristics change as it suffers damage, as shown below. So obviously he has a degrading profile. So one Angron, when he has 10 or more wounds remaining, he has move 16, weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength 9, toughness 7, 18 wounds, attacks 12, leadership 10, 2 up save. Once he drops down to his second bracket between 6 and 9 wounds, he goes down to 12 moves. So he loses 4 movement and then loses 2 attacks. So he goes down to 10 attacks. And then his final bracket is 1 to 5 wounds remaining. And move then is 8. So it's cut in half by the time he's bracketed. And then again, attacks are going to go down by 2 more. So it went from 12 to 10 to 8. And move went from 16 to 12 to 8. So pretty freaking awesome, even on his lowest bracket, obviously. And then it says Angron is equipped with Sami Arias and Spine Grinder. Your army can only include 1 Angron model, which makes sense, obviously. And then for his actual weapon, Samius and Spine Grinder, each time an attack is made with this weapon, select one of the profiles below to make that attack with. So the first is the Skull Taking Slash, and it is obviously melee, plus 5 strength, minus 4 AP, D3 plus 3 damage. So taking into account his existing profile, and then also his Warlord trait as well. So plus 1 strength, plus 1 attack on the charge. So that's going to take him to 10 strength plus the 5 from this. So he would be attacking at 15 strength with 13 attacks at minus 4 D3 plus 3 damage. You know, hitting on 2s, 14 strength, probably going to be wounding on 2s as well, or 15 strength, minus 4 AP, pretty freaking amazing. So, I mean, maximum damage, obviously he's not going to get that, but let's just say 13 attacks and they all hit, they all wound. You're talking about, you know, and they roll max damage. You're talking about 6 per damage times 13 attacks. So you're talking about potential of 78 damage. Now, obviously, you're not going to do that. You're not going to hit, wound, and roll max damage. But that's still pretty freaking awesome. So if we just do a quick crunch of the numbers, we're talking about with 2s to hit, you're talking about hitting with 13 attacks on the charge. Assuming we're attacking something, let's say, with toughness of 7 or below, he's going to be wounding on 2s as well. So now we're going to basically have probably around 9 or 10 wounds. And then if you just roll average damage, you're talking about basically 5 wounds per. So if we say 9 wounds at 5 per, you're talking about 45 damage with this attack. So pretty freaking devastating. And if you thought that was pretty intense, next we have the Bloodletting Sweep. So again, obviously melee strength user. So it would be at strength 10 on the charge now. So anything 5 or less, you're wounding on 2s. Still pretty freaking awesome. Minus 3 AP. So you do lose 1 AP. It is a single damage instead of D3 plus 3. But each time an attack is made with this weapon profile, make 3 hit rolls instead of 1. So with his Warlord trait of plus 1 attack, that means he has 13 attacks on the charge. And if he uses the Bloodletting Sweep, that gives him 39 total attacks. 39 attacks on the charge, hitting on 2s at strength 10. That is pretty ridiculous. So obviously, this is a leaked potato cam footage datasheet, so we don't know for sure if this is correct. It was also disclosed that it was a playtester copy and may not, you know, be exactly the same going through. But from what we've seen so far, pretty freaking awesome. This dude is an absolute savage. None of this, honestly, I mean, it's obviously ridiculously powerful, very, very strong, but it doesn't seem like so broken that Games Workshop wouldn't do it. And I know that's a bold statement, but let's be real. After the last like 5 codexes GW has written, there's not much that would surprise me anymore. So overall, I think between the no retreat ability and the ability to do 3 attacks instead of 1, or just do those awesome regular attacks, this dude is going to be a devastating powerhouse. Now, obviously, the main thing is getting him into combat. He has wings. He's going to be fast. He's going to draw a lot of fire. He's definitely a beefy boy. We'll have to see how his demon save works as well. If he has a demon save similar to actual demons, that's going to be really, really strong. If he has more of a traditional type save, which is what I would think because he's actually part of World Eaters, it's going to be a little less strong because there is still potentially things that could ignore his invulnerable saves, etc. The real question is going to be, is there a unit similar to like Mortarian's Bodyguard where you can basically run a couple guys and they can absorb some shots to make sure that he gets across the table? So pretty awesome. We'll have to see, obviously, if this is going to be true or not. I'm sure we'll have more leaks coming out, and then eventually the final reveal of his stats and everything a little closer to the new year. But very, very cool. Very, very strong for what we've seen so far. Does this look legit? Yeah, it looks legit to me. It would not surprise me. It could turn out to be fake. Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if this is the real deal. But regardless, I'm less concerned with his actual game stats. We know he's going to be a total powerhouse. But honestly, the model is just so amazing. I really don't care. I need to get my hands on this Demon Primarch. I need some World Eaters in my life, and I cannot wait for the new models. Let me know if you're excited as well. If you enjoyed today's video, if you're into these type of reactions, reviews, news, painting, modeling, conversion tutorials, make sure you check out the playlist. Put out at least one video every single day for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, Horus Heresy, pretty much any of the Games Workshop games, or sometimes just taking a look at Games Workshop themselves. But that's it for today. Appreciate all of the kind words and likes, all the shares. Make sure you are subscribed if you're not already. And that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm giving in to chaos. World Eaters unite, and I'm out of here.